The financial industry is allegedly ruthless and unfair. However, these claims serve merely to terrify those looking to become wealthy, because practically anyone can potentially reach millions of dollars in their account by having successful financial experiences and following the laws of riches. The most anonymous billionaire in history, Andrew Carnegie, is a perfect example of this. He was among the first people to achieve the title of richest man in human history. So, what did he believe in? And how may his wealth-building experience help you? This is Luxurious and Chic, and make sure to watch until the end to find out. Hit like and subscribe for more videos like this. The name Carnegie is now linked to Dale in publications with titles that start with the word how that were printed in millions of copies. However, everyone who reads newspapers 100 years ago was aware that Carnegie was just Andrew, and Dale Carnegie himself altered the spelling of his surname from Carnegie to Carnegie at the start of his writing career. He was directed by a straightforward calculation, just like Andrew, who was already dead by that point. At the time, success was associated with Andrew Carnegie's last name. A knowledge of a man who has amassed greater wealth than John Rockefeller and John Pierpont Morgan. Andrew Carnegie would rank first among businesses and fourth overall, second only to the great rulers of ancient times, if one were to measure the riches of present and former billionaires by inflation or by the proportion of their capital in the global GDP at the time. The future billionaires started out in abject poverty, even in another nation. Although Andrew was born in Scotland in 1835, his parents were forced to emigrate in quest of a better life. They thus made their way to the US and settled close to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was compelled to work as a coiler in a spinning mill at the age of 13 after only finishing 5 grades and earning $1.5 a week. Andrew will eventually rise to become one of the richest businessmen in history. So here's the guidelines that Carnegie followed to lead a successful life. From your early ages, progressively advance your career. Young Andrew's next employment was as a boiler stoker in a manufacturing basement. Compared to being a coiler, this job was much simpler. He was also given an additional $2. He soon received a transfer to the office due to his exquisite handwriting. After escaping that industrial nightmare, another adolescent would have made plans, but not Andrew. He then left the serene office paradise to become a messenger on the streets. However, throughout those years, it was the telegraph. The telegraph was the newest technology, opening up previously unimaginable frontiers, but its commercial use did not start until 1837. As a result, Thomas Scott, the local branch manager of the Pennsylvania Railroad Company, appointed him as his personal telegrapher. Scott was paying him $35 a month for the position. He was only 18 years old when in just 5 years, he had increased his initial income 30 times and, more crucially, established friends with Thomas Scott, his supervisor, who later became his business associate. Instead of saving money, put it to work for you. Like Carnegie, the typical 18-year-old faced a choice between saving money or using his wage for leisure activities. But Andrew went with choice number 3. He put the cash into stocks. Only using the dividends from the prior shares, Carnegie had already started purchasing new shares. To get an idea of how unusual this was for a young person from a low-income working-class home, remember that there were no how-to-get-rich classes at the time, and Andrew's education was limited to only 5 grades. But each week, he would take out a fresh book from the neighborhood library. Business manuals, however, were not yet available. Additionally, Carnegie borrowed money from his former co-workers and mortgaged his parents' home in order to purchase stock in the Adams Express Railroad Company. The railroad was a cutting-edge device at the time, just as the telegraph. So it is appropriate to refer to Carnegie as one of the original venture capitalists. His estimations were accurate as well. $50,000 invested in shares in a year and a half became $630,000. Carnegie continued to acquire stocks in railroads, bridge constructions, and oil firms. It's interesting to note that Carnegie was already buying additional shares solely using the proceeds from the existing holdings to find new markets to invest in while balancing risk and logic. Carnegie might be led by precise vision and even calculation by purchasing shares of bridge building businesses. Since the US was practically starting from scratch, infrastructure building was necessary. However, at the time, oil exploration was a venture capital industry. Carnegie was purchasing land parcels in the most desolate regions of the nation, simply using locals' rumors about where oil may be found as his guide. He had his share of luck and had his share of bad luck. Carnegie never received the black gold from the plots he purchased because he was unable to sell them over 30 years with a total area of 20,000 hectares. However, the oil-bearing property he purchased for $40,000 generated Carnegie a $1 million annual income over the course of 10 years and was worth $5 million. Obtain motivation from $2.50. Carnegie began his professional life with a $2.50 bonus. To help his parents support their family, he gave them this cash. The moment Carnegie understood he wanted to be wealthy, but not for himself, he stated, "No subsequent victory in recognition thrilled me more than this one. Back then, I felt like I was in heaven." He envisioned having enough money for his parents to live comfortably. Carnegie's enthusiasm and performance had a remarkable uptick once he found drive. He lacked the motivation to assist himself, but he was driven to provide for others. Therefore, you need to have a continual incentive in your mind to help you deal with the inevitable challenges on your route to success, whether you're doing it for your parents, your children, or to aid people who don't even know your name. Adopt the 9/10ths rule. The entire trajectory of Carnegie's life was altered by this incident. It concerns an elderly guy whose life was tragically filled with occurrences. The elderly man received sympathy from the town's residents, but he responded, "Yes, my friends, everything you say is true. I have lived a long life full of misery. But there is one curious fact. 9/10ths of my troubles were not really there." After hearing that tale, Carnegie realized that the majority of the issues and the worries that concern us are unfounded. Our minds have a tendency to consider the worst scenario and take appropriate action. But in reality, the majority of the feared bad things never happen. Even then, things don't end up being as horrible as they initially appeared. Carnegie overcame his fear of the unknown by reminding himself of the rule of 9/10ths and was able to take the chances required to achieve considerable success. Emerge from the shadows. One afternoon, a young man entered Carnegie's office to conduct an interview with him and learn more about his achievements. The young man could have been interested in hearing about Carnegie's rise to obscurity to affluence and his close business partnership with John Rockefeller. But Carnegie gave him a different message. The ability to put his worries behind him and grin at life, according to Carnegie, was the most important quality in his life. He claimed that, to him, having millions of wealth was secondary to having the ability to view everything with optimism. Carnegie remarked, "Young people should know they can develop this, that the mind, like the body, can be moved from shadow to light." In business, this is also true. Carnegie was able to focus on the positive aspects of life since the constraint of the negative outlook on life was lifted, recover from setbacks quickly, and seize possibilities that others missed. The secret to success. Experience is undoubtedly one of a person's most significant assets. Though it is priceless, few people can use it to its full potential. The same life principles that made Andrew Carnegie wealthy can make you extremely wealthy. The most important thing is to act with courage and belief, and you will succeed. So, what are your thoughts on Andrew Carnegie's secret to success? Tell us in the comments. Check out our channel for more luxurious videos if you like this one. And if you want to know about the most expensive things in the world, look inside the lives of the wealthiest people on the planet, or how to achieve success in your life, make sure to hit the subscribe button and stay updated on our latest videos. Don't forget to hit the like button.